Welcome to Face Forward, the podcast, the series that takes you behind the scenes of the riveting world of clinical trial management. I am your host, Valerie Coveney, and I am thrilled to be your guide on this journey through the nuances of planning, executing, and navigating the clinical research landscape. So our guest today is a seasoned marketing leader with over 20 years of experience in the scientific, technical, and medical B2B sectors. Known for her strategic mindset and compassionate leadership, she's helped countless organizations craft impactful PR and integrated communications campaigns. Our discussion will explore how public relations shape perception, builds trust, and supports business goals across diverse audiences. Let's welcome Sarah Ballard, Agency Director at KDM. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, Valerie. It's lovely to be here.
Amazing. So let's dive right in if we can. So Sarah, how has the role of PR evolved in today's business?
So I would say PR has evolved a lot in my time working in the industry, and to the point where today it's really critical business function. I'd say it's front and center rather than being a peripheral function. And I think a lot of that has come from the world that we live in today, this always on digitally connected landscape. So there's a wealth of information at our fingertips, but that means that building your brand comes with the challenge of having to cut through that noise so that your message reaches the right people. And digitization has also changed the way we communicate. So we have instant updates, we have visibility across multiple channels. So that also presents a challenge that as a brand, you have to maintain that consistency so that anyone experiencing your brand has a familiarity, whether that's on your website, whether it's speaking with an individual, whether it's reading an article in the press, whether it's hearing from you in other communications. So it's getting that consistency is crucial. I'd also say that digitalization has democratized communication, so anyone can have a voice, which means that trust isn't assumed anymore. It's got to be something that's earned, and it's got to be reinforced through integrity and authenticity. So that's an absolutely crucial part for a brand in terms of being able to build that trust. I'd also say that stakeholders are more informed. So that's where the storytelling comes in, because today, storytelling isn't just about the what, it's about the why. And audiences want to know whether your values match theirs. So it's very much a value-driven industry in terms of finding that connection and building that trust and authenticity. And for me, PR has really become that connective tissue between the brand, the purpose, and trust. So it's a really crucial part of any business.
Exactly.
There's one other thing I think would be useful to mention at this point, that reputation, brand reputation, is even more public than it's ever been, and which means that it's also more fragile. We can understand our stakeholders in real time now, but that also means we have to respond in real time too, and with something appropriate. So it also means that PR isn't just about growth for a company, it's also about reputation management and potential risk mitigation. So today, in today's world, PR is less about controlling the message, but it's more about shaping this consistent, credible narrative that runs across fragmented and fast-moving channels. That's how I would summarize it.
And in your opinion, why is PR considered a strategic business function? In what way?
Okay, so I would say for PR, you have to address so many different diverse stakeholders with your communication. So it could be the media, it could also be your customers and prospective customers, also investors and shareholders. It could be your internal teams and all of your employees as well. And it could be wider organizations such as regulators. So you've got an enormous breadth of stakeholders to cover with your messaging. And it needs to be appropriate for each of those different audiences to ensure that it resonates with them and that they understand the same messaging that you're wanting to communicate through that. So strategic PR, in my opinion, it's something that you align with your business outcomes. So whether that is attracting investment or influencing regulators or retaining the core talent of the team that you have internally. And PR builds that trust that underpins all of that.
Definitely. So talking back here about storytelling, how is it important in shareholder communication? Where does it stand?
Well, shareholders are people too, right? So they also
Yeah.
respond to the narrative. It's not just about the numbers. And good storytelling can link milestones and strategy to your shareholder value. So it's about understanding that broader trajectory, the mission, the impact, and the people in the team that are making that happen. So it's conveying where the organization is going, why it matters, and what progress looks like along the way. I'd also say that critically, the story that you build during those strong periods becomes a stabilizing force during uncertainty. So, in sensitive moments such as leadership changes or clinical
Hmm.
trial delays, something like that, if you're providing clarity and reassurance on a clear way forward, that supports investor confidence. So, when you've already earned that trust through consistent value driven storytelling, you're not starting from zero when those challenges arise, and you're operating from a foundation of credibility, which will stand you in good stead for the long run.
So you just mentioned investor confidence. What can PR do to enhance that?
I guess PR gives you that structure of how and when and where, as a company, you communicate with your shareholders, especially in these moments of high scrutiny. So, this could include how you frame complex information to make sure that it's clear and accessible to the audience that you're speaking to, prepping your leadership for tough investor calls or press interactions that they may be having to ensure that you're prepared for any of the questions that they may ask. And I would say, in general, owning that narrative proactively where you can, so avoiding uncertainty and stepping into the limelight.
Excellent. So I think the table is set. We understand the purpose of PR. What do you foresee as a future trend for PR? What can you share with our audience?
So we started this podcast talking about trends that have already impacted the industry in terms of digitalization. I think AI is a key example of something that's taking that one step further. And today's stakeholders really want that communication that feels real and feels human and value driven. And so there are formats in where you can use AI, but it's got to be in such a way that you still engender that trust. The trust is what it's all
Mm,
about at the end of the day, and it's so easily lost. So we as an agency, as a communications agency, we use AI as a tool to help us with admin related tasks and to help our experts here spend more time on the things that they do best. But all of our content is written by humans. We also spend a lot of time talking with industry experts, such as your colleagues on the Endero team. And
yes.
added value comes from the navigation of those conversations and the insights that we gather from those. And that just doesn't come without human interaction. It's not something that can be replaced artificially. Particularly in a regulated industry such as clinical trials, these nuances of tone and the accuracy when communicating complex information is also absolutely crucial. And that's something that AI hasn't yet learned to be able to bring in. So you really do need that human eye over across all of your communications.
Oh, absolutely.
Also tying in with what we spoke about earlier, multi-channel storytelling. So today's media uses podcast format, uses webinar video format, as well as written content. And of course, there's social media and connections there as well. So I think the take home message in terms of trends for the industry today is that today's PR teams need to be agile and they need to be intentional as well. So thinking of a team as content curators rather than just creators. So you're
Yes.
deciding what to say, what is the most meaningful thing to say, where it fits in your broader narrative, and also the best channel for delivering that so that you build your brand message over time.
Absolutely. So we're now on to our last little bits of our episode today. I'd like to go over what should a sponsor look for in a PR partner?
Great question. Well, for me, it's all about finding the right fit. You want a partner that brings insight, not just execution. So it's someone that can advise, push back, and help you see around those
Mm,
corners and work with you as an extension of your team. We've talked there about authenticity and building that trust, and that has to come through the partnerships as well. And if your PR team doesn't understand you intimately, they're not going to communicate your values in the right way. So we very much see ourselves as an extension of our clients' teams when we work with them. And we also see ourselves as a bridge between them and the media or editorial community. So we spend a lot of time getting to know our clients. And also having worked in these niche specialist industries, all of the company's existence, we've built these very strong relationships with the industry press. And that's where we can really add value for our clients.
Yes, and I think that's something I can speak on for working with Sarah's team. It really has felt like you've been part of our team all along. So it's really a nice collaboration that we enjoy on our end.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Likewise.
Yes. So on to our final takeaways for sponsors. What could you share just to wrap up here?
I would say the take homes really are that PR is about building that long term trust, visibility, and resilience. So, in highly regulated, science driven sectors such as we operating in, your story isn't optional. It's a strategic asset that you have woven into your growth, your funding, and your engagement strategy from day one. And the organizations that invest in thoughtful, value aligned storytelling don't just capture attention, but they build confidence with all of the stakeholders that you need to be involved with. So strong PR builds that reputation before you need it, and it protects it when it matters most.
Fantastic. So what a great end to this episode. Thank you so much, Sarah.
It's been an absolute pleasure for me too. Thank you.
As we conclude another illuminating episode of Face Forward, we find ourselves at the crossroads of science and progress. Remember that behind the jargon and statistics lie stories of unwavering commitment, meticulous observation, and the pursuit of evidence that shapes our understanding of health and disease. Stay at the forefront of knowledge and innovation and follow Face Forward on your preferred platform. My name is Valerie Kovney. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.